What's the good word, y'all? DKB here. So we have been linked to a huge free agent opportunity for us at a position that plenty of us wanted upgraded last year. It never necessarily happened. We did get a good plan B option in Jordan Whitehead, but we could be clearing the cupboard again. I mean, realistically, we only have Tony Adams, who's an undrafted free agent, who just started seeing some significant playing time the last 2 weeks of the season. And then we're looking at Jordan Whitehead. LaMarcus Joyner could potentially retire. We can move on from Ashton Davis. And we did end up re-signing Will Parks, but he's kind of been a long-standing special teams option who can come in and take a handful of snaps over the course of the season. So nothing extremely significant. Maybe Tony Adams can be a huge piece moving forward for us, but you still feel like you want to try to go in and upgrade the roster. And with Jordan Whitehead potentially being a cap casualty, this could be the perfect answer for it. So Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, the Philadelphia Eagles starting safety, is currently the option that we've been linked with, and I think this would be a huge win for us. So we're talking about a kid that's 5'11", playing around 210 pounds, former 2019 fourth-round draft pick. All he did was become a star slot cornerback with the Saints, and his situation is almost similar to a Jordan Whitehead in that he's had some pretty good production, actually top tier for Chauncey Gardner in his case, and they just couldn't agree on a contract number, and so he ended up getting traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, where all he did was become one of the best safeties all around in his first year, really being able to play the position, leading the league with 6 interceptions. And for the New York Jets, we know turnovers have been at a minimal for us, and so adding a player of this caliber that we know can force some takeaways, especially with this cornerback group that we have in the front four that can go out there and rush the passer, it seems like an obvious no-brainer, and we're not investing a huge chunk of change into this position. So we'll get into the contracts shortly, but what does Chauncey Gardner-Johnson bring to us? Well, he didn't quite make the All-Pro team this year, but he did get recognized by Pro Football Writers for his performance. In terms of his stats, in 55 games, he's snagged 11 interceptions. He's forced a fumble, added 4 sacks, and he's had 20 tackles for loss. And again, this is split between him playing slot cornerback with the Saints and then his versatility and going over to the safety position for the Eagles and manning that spot at a high rate. One of the things that I love is that he's allowed over the last 3 years an average of less than 80% passer rating when targeted. My biggest concern with him is probably going to be his missed tackle rate, though. Over the last 3 seasons in that same span, he's averaged about a 14.9% missed tackle rate. Some things that could get cleaned up, but with the impact that he has in the turnover department, you're willing to sacrifice him maybe whiffing on a few tackles when you think about the additional opportunities that this offense that's getting retooled is going to absolutely have. Versatility is going to be at the forefront. So we know he's played slot corner, which isn't going to be a role he necessarily has to be concerned with. We do like that. That's going to be an added addition, but we developed Michael Carter II into a very solid, player at that role. And so with Chauncey, I could envision him only going to that spot when Michael Carter II potentially needs a breather, and then you slide in a Tony Adams, for example, and you still have a very, very solid back end. He's able to play a little bit of linebacker as he's done with the Saints, and then we've seen what he's done at the safety position. And so you couldn't be more than happy. There are a few injuries to be concerned with, but nothing extremely major. He's had a knee strain. He's dealt with a kidney laceration this season, some concussion concerns. Let's go ahead and dive into the contract, though. So a PFF's cap specialist, I can't remember the name right now, but basically they predicted him landing somewhere in the $34.5 million range over 3 years. $23 million of that is expected to be guaranteed, which is going to give him about $11.5 million per year average. I think it could be a steal for a guy that could potentially, on his own, bring in at minimal 3 to 4 interceptions by himself. But this is one of those things where you kind of feel like this can be infectious to the rest of the roster. I mean, we were able to snag 3 with Joyner. I think Whitehead was able to get 2 or 3 on his own. And this is going to open up a world of opportunities when you envision him on the back end with DJ Reed, with Sauce Gardner, with the front four led by Quinnen to force the issue on a lot of errant passes. And you get really, really excited about what this defense can become with somebody that can actually go out there and get the ball on a consistent basis for them. So we'll see. This does match what Joe Douglas has looked for in the past. A player with a playoff pedigree. He's chasing the Super Bowl ring right now. It'll be our luck if he ultimately does end up reaching free agency. We'll see what kind of moves the Eagles end up doing, but let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in a Jets uniform, ball hawking safety, provides excellent versatility for us at an elite level. Would you guys sign him, or should we play our cards safe and maybe look to the draft? Let me know what your thoughts are. I'll catch you again. Peace.